What's up, Black Panther fans? It's the Emerald Enthusiast of the Multiverse Musings Podcast Network. Here with a look at the Titan Hero series, figure 3-pack of Namor, Ironheart, and Shuri. I recently found these figures on sale. I thought they would make for a very interesting review, so let's get a look at the package details. We get headshots on the top, and it says Wakanda Forever. Here's a look at the bottom front, and this one has some shelf wear. On the bottom, we get some product information. On the side, we get a shot of various characters from the movie. And on the opposite side, we get shots of the 3 characters depicted in this 3-pack. And on the back, we get full-body product shots of Shuri, Ironheart, and Namor the Submariner. And now I think it's time to bust these figures out of the package and see what's inside. And here we see Ironheart, Namor, and Shuri out of the package and ready to rumble. I think these figures are a great value, but at the same time, there are areas that could have used improvement. So let's go ahead and take a look at the loose details now. Let's start with a look at Riri Williams as Ironheart. And you can obviously see that the lower body is missing some paint. There are lots of black sections and gold trim that have been omitted. This does feel very durable. This is something that a kid can play with roughly and not break it. There is an abundance of good sculpting here, and I think if you are a customizer, you wouldn't have a difficult time making this figure look screen accurate. Here is a close-up of the torso, and you can see that this is much more screen accurate. It's still missing some coloring, but not nearly as much as the lower body. I feel like the torso is slightly undersized, but that's a very minor problem. Here's a close-up of the arms, and they're a mixed bag. You do see some good sculpting here, and there's some gold paint, but as you can see here in the deltoid and biceps region, there's paint missing from that part of the armor. If you flip her arms up and rotate them outward, you can clearly see that there are some details missing, and it's really a shame that there's no wrist articulation. It would really be nice to be able to flip her hand up and have the palm facing outward. The head sculpt on this figure is extremely well executed. You can see all of the sculpting and the paint here. Other than the eyes, which I really think could have used a little bit of a glossy finish, this really does look good. I think that it's accurate. The neck is a little long, and on the back here, at least on mine, there's a little roughness back here with the sculpting, as you can see. But this certainly looks like Riri's helmet in the movie, so I think both kids and collectors will be pleased. The articulation is limited. You can only get her to kick that far forward. You can only get her to kick this far out to the side. She does step back a little bit. I didn't expect that, so that's certainly a welcomed aspect of this figure. You can lift her arms that far up to the sides at the shoulders there. And again, you can rotate the arms outward, so I do appreciate that. In terms of the head sculpt, you can get it to look side to side. There's a minimal amount of movement up and down, and there is no head tilting. Now let's have a look at Tenoch Huerta as Namor the Submariner. Here's a close-up of the lower body, and Hasbro did an excellent job here executing the wings on the sides of the feet. The wings have been sculpted very well. The musculature on the legs, I believe, is close. It might be a little less than it should be in terms of definition, but again, that's a very minor criticism. Let's have a look at the trunks and the torso. I really like this sculpting here on the belt. There's plenty of good definition, as well as on the trunks here. You can see wrinkles that have been sculpted in. I believe the torso is accurate to the movie. Again, you can see the 6-pack. This one has a little bit of extra paint there on the pectoral. With the back, it feels like there could be a little bit more definition on the latissimus dorsi, but overall, I do believe that Hasbro hit the mark here. Here's a close-up of the arms, and really the only criticism I have here is I feel like there's a little bit of definition lacking in the forearms, but that's about it. In terms of the overall shape of the biceps, the triceps, the deltoids, and the skin tone, I think that's all accurate. It's just a shame that he doesn't have a spear accessory to hold in one of these gripping hands. Here's a close-up of the necklace and the head sculpt, and I really appreciate this paint here. I believe that's where that little bit of extra paint came from, but you can see there's been a lot of attention to detail here, both in terms of sculpting and paint applications. Likewise on the earrings here. Let's get a better look at those. Those have been sculpted very well. I really like that green. That just really pops. And in terms of the head sculpt and the likeness, I think it really does look like Tenoch Huerta. It's not perfect, but you can certainly tell that it's him. There's some paint missing on the back of the necklace here, but overall, I think this is a solid effort by Hasbro. In terms of articulation, the forward kicking motion is only adequate, but you can get him into a full split, which means that you can get him into a really deep side kicking pose. You can't get him to step back at all, so I'm a little disappointed there. There is 360 degrees of rotation with the arms. You can rock them outward like this and get him into the big power pose. He does have articulation at both wrists, so if you do find some kind of spear accessory that is in this scale, I'm guessing he would be able to hold it. In terms of the head, you can get him to look side to side. There's minimal movement up and down, and there is no head tilting. And last but certainly not least, we have Letitia Wright as Shuri. Here's a look at the lower body, and there's plenty to like here. I like the way the feet look. And even though this is obviously plastic, they have sculpted it in such a way that it does look like fabric. You can see the pocket there. You can see that it has seams. So I'm really impressed with the way Hasbro did this. This purple color choice really pops. Here's a close-up of the torso, and you can see there is an abundance of sculpting details here. Once again, there are sections that have color missing, but overall, this really brings to life that purple outfit that she wore in the movie. You can see there, again, plenty of detail here on the back as well. You can see all of these lines that have been sculpted in. So overall, this is some excellent work by Hasbro. Here's a close-up of the arms, and I really think this color scheme works well. The black sections and this light purple are complemented well by these blue sections. And there's some excellent sculpting on these fists. So more solid work by Hasbro. I am thoroughly impressed by this head sculpt. Hasbro did an outstanding job at capturing the likeness of Letitia right here. The skin tone is accurate. I really appreciate the way they sculpted the mouth, and the way they brought the hair to life is really amazing. Look at all of the details here. Especially when you consider the price point, this is a superb job. In terms of articulation, you can get her to kick that far forward. You can get her into a full split for a deep side kicking pose. There's 360 degrees of rotation. You can lift her arms up that far, so that's impressive. You can get them to rock outward for the big power pose. Her head moves freely from side to side. There's minimal movement up and down, and there is no head tilting, but overall, this is an outstanding job by Hasbro. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube, which includes the Marvel Masterworks podcast. and I'll be back to the internet with more comic book related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.